So this morning, we're gonna do different walks using the same techniques on different harnesses and leash setups, just to see if he is actually used to pulling through his older setups, like it seems already here, right? Just kind of ignoring the pressure. He's interested in his nose. I'm gonna give each one a fair and try as best as possible and a fair assessment, um, utilizing the same walking techniques. So as soon as there is pressure on the lead, giving him a correction by either turning around, doing sudden pressure, or doing linear pressure. And we'll see how he reacts to each setup, if there will be anything beneficial to anything different from his original setup, which is what we have right here. First off is just his original easy walk and leash. Okay. Gonna go ahead and do a turn. Good boy. Yes, good boy. We want him to still be able to smell and enjoy his walk, mark things as necessary. Just want to prevent him from continuously pulling or suddenly pulling. Huh? Good boy. It's definitely a good bit of just consistent pressure, but it's nothing too bad. So he's starting to pull. If he continues after the crosswalk, we'll do a bit of a turn. Yes, good boy. Yes, good boy. Discourages him momentarily from continuously pulling, but you can tell he still goes back to that same spot that he was interested in. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Okay, turning. Good boy. Okay, good boy. Good boy. Yes. Here, we're kind of pulling, and he's just digging in, holding his ground. There you go. Just gonna build some tension, go back the other way. I'm gonna wait a moment for this lady to go by with her stroller. Got a few cars coming up as well. All right, let's go ahead and get going. Good boy. Good boy. So at least in general, he's paying more attention to the leash pressure. He's also more prone to digging in and bypassing this leash pressure here, right? Good boy. Now we're just walking on a nice loose leash, which is good. You can go ahead and rotate left back in. Boy. Good boy. Gonna do a little bit more close heel walking here. Good boy. Give him a couple times of warming up, slowly shrinking down the lead. Good. Pulling back on it a little bit. past this again. Go ahead and turn. Past this again. Boy. So now we're just utilizing a combination of the exercises with the training tools that we have with this setup. Right? Helps them to turn left or right. Good boy. Now at this point, we want him to kind of turn up and into us. Just kind of ignoring that. He is pausing whenever we do apply pressure. Let him leash back out so that way he can go to the bathroom. Directional pressure to the left here, keep us beside us. Good. Slowing him down. Slowing him down. Turning. Good boy. Turning. Slowing him down. Still want to try to keep the leash nice and loose unless we actually need it for some input. Good boy. Giving him some corrections to stay near me using the leash. Now he's going forward. There's constant pressure on it. Nothing's really registering. So go ahead, do a turn. Go ahead and keep walking. Digging in on it. Okay. Broke. Keep going. Good. Nice and loose again. Try to keep him next to me. Went past. Ignoring leash pressure. Ignoring the directional change. Following his nose. Good boy. Applying counter leash pressure there. We wanted to go right. Went up and left with the leash. Nice and loose again. Bye. Alright. So that's the first round with the original gear. Definitely needed a little bit of help, which isn't too bad. Or quite a few times when he just pulled right through the pressure. The leash is good, and the harness, the Easy Walk harnesses are good because it helps with the directional pressure, right? Letting them know whether to go left or right. But back pressure is a little bit harder, right? Good boy. Just used to kind of pulling through it, not paying attention to it nearly as much. Good boy. Yes. Good job. The setup is good though because it doesn't really correct him in any way. It's pros and cons. For corrections, you're going to have to either apply sudden or a lot more leash pressure overall and change directions. Because this one doesn't really correct him in any way. It's really good with helping to guide him though. All right, go ahead and pause here and we'll get the next one. Good. Sit. Good boy. Okay. All right, next setup that we have is just a traditional slip lead. All right. So we have it loose when there's no pressure. We have the safety back there so it doesn't choke him too much, but it'll definitely tighten around him when he does start pulling. Goals are still going to be the same. We want him to be the one applying pressure for the most part when he gets too far. We want him to recognize which way we're going and refocus on us when he feels the pressure, as opposed to just pulling through it. If necessary, we'll help him out with the training drills, turns, and keeping him close to us on the last part. Here we just have the same kind of steady, consistent pressure. Starting to follow his nose down, so you're gonna go ahead and do a turn. Good boy, yes, this way. Good. He recognizes the directional change pretty good there. Good boy. Start going again. Still allowing him to smell and explore things a bit. Go to the bathroom if necessary. But if he starts pulling too hard, following his nose, step in, give him some help. Okay. Got a little kid coming up playing, so we'll go ahead and cross here. Good boy. Good boy. We're gonna cross back over so that way we can try to keep the track similar for all the trials. Oh, poor guy. Okay, starting to pull. Go ahead, you do a U-turn. Good boy. Good boy. Camera flipping out a little bit there, sorry. Didn't like the turn in that he took for some reason. All right. Good. He's pausing more under less pressure for me, more of just the pressure happening when he's starting to pull too far. Good boy. Some slight steady pressure. We're gonna have him stop here. Wait for any cars coming. Did really good there. Okay. Starting to apply some forward pressure. And do a turn. He recognizes it and responds immediately, so that's very good. Didn't need too much pressure. Back again in the excited area with the scents here. Good boy. So you can tell he's still following his nose. He's definitely more excited, but he's not pulling as hard towards anything. Good. I'm gonna pause here again. Good boy. He recognizes the slight leash pressure. We'll cross the street again. All right. We'll go back towards this way. Good boy. Notices either the birds or the leaves falling. Gonna apply some directional pressure. Good boy. Maybe on the hunt for a squirrel. Good boy. Good. Steady, slight pressure. I'm gonna go ahead and cross here. Got another pup coming to our left, so we should be okay because we're gonna be going straight down. But I figure if nothing else, that'd be a good stress test for the situation. We'll try to keep everything as consistent as possible though, just for testing's sake. But he doesn't seem to notice the pup at all, so that's fine. Okay. Nice, good loose leash. Starting to pick up the pace a little bit. Boy. All right. Gonna do a directional change. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. We're gonna go ahead and keep the leash a little bit lower or closer to us. Use it to kind of keep him close. Again, turning around. Good boy. Keeping him near. Applying some pressure to help him out. Good. Starting to go too fast. Some pressure again. Good boy. Okay, going a little far. Directional pressure change back this way. Good boy. Shorten up the lead again. Try to keep him on a closer walk with me. Some sudden pressure there. Slight back pressure there. Keeping the leash nice and loose. Starting to drift off away. We're gonna go ahead and turn around here. Boy. He wants to mark and pee, but he's not allowed to in that yard, so I'm gonna give him the opportunity here if he needs to. Okay, then back to not pulling, so that's good. Sees the gentleman over there. So a little bit distracted, but not too bad. directional pressure change. Good boy. Okay. So I think, especially in this one back to back, it took a lot less effort when it was necessary to pull him away from his nose or anything that he was interested in. Overall, he walked a little bit nicer, I think, too, on this one with just less pressure overall. Boy. Yeah. Bones. And sit. I'll go ahead and try the next setup. Good boy. Okay. Next up here, we have the rope harness. This is usually good for pups that there can be a flight risk. So it wraps around them and it kind of pulls into itself like the slip lead when pressure is applied, making it a little bit more escape resistant. Of course, you still have to be careful depending on which direction the pup is pulling, but it definitely makes it a little bit easier for them to not back out of it. Okay. Okay. Starting to build up a little bit of consistent pressure here, so I'm going to go ahead and do a turn. Good boy. A little bit more hesitant that time. Good boy. Yes. We'll give him more treats and reward him for continuing to focus when I also don't have the camera on. But still trying to at least mark when he's doing things that we like him to continue to do. So that was good. He's now walking a little bit nicer on the lead. Just like with the slip lead, it has a stopper to keep it from going too tight or too loose. Now I have it more towards the too tight side. Starting to build a little bit of pressure here. A lot of pressure. Go ahead and turn. Boy. Yeah, back around. Good. So the more responsive that time, which is good. Getting distracted by things again. Gonna use some forward walking pressure. He responded well to that. He also slowed down as soon as he felt the pressure again because he was going too fast. Some slight constant pressure. If he does any more, I'll do another turn. Yep, there we go. Good boy. And each time we're just wanting him to slow down, refocus. Most of his pulling behavior comes from being too excited when he either gets a scent or a critter or anything like that. When he's nice and calm, unless he's trying to get to somewhere to pee, he also doesn't pull. So that was good there. He's trying to get to a scent. Didn't have to add additional pressure to the lead. Pressure from him pulling was enough to discourage him to keep going. So he's out in front, but there's really no pressure. Just following his nose. There's a natural pressure building up here as he gets a little too far from me. I'll stop here to see how he does when come to a crosswalk. Good boy. Good job. Again, starting to build up a little bit of pressure there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn. Good boy. Have him redirect his focus. All right, and try again. Starting to build up a little bit of pressure here. Stop here. Good. Cross. Good boy. Good boy. These trials, even though we're trying to take the same consistent course, it isn't always going to be fair just because, unlike with the first pass, there weren't dogs in the yard. And then right there with the pass before, there was something in the tree that got his attention, right? Whereas this time there wasn't. Good boy. Good. Just keeping it nice and loose this time. Even though he's pretty close to heel. Here we go. He's getting a little distracted there. We're gonna turn, have him come with, shorten up the lead. Good boy. Now I'm gonna have him closer to a heeling. Good boy. Using the leash to correct him from going from the right side. He sees something interesting on the left. Micro corrections because he's going right. Good. Doing really well. Starting to go too fast. Gonna give him a slight correction there to slow down. Same again. And try to keep the leash nice and loose. And you use small bits of interaction whenever possible to give him those reminders or the guidance to help. Okay, starting to get involved with his nose. Good. Disengage his nose. Walk a little faster. Still nice and loose. All right. Go ahead and pause here. There we go. Sure there are no cars coming before crossing the street. All right. Good boy. So now we're gonna go back to the first one now that there weren't any dogs for distractions, and he's done the course a couple times, so he might be more used to the environment. We'll give that a fair shake to see if it's good to correct him here. There you go. So off of his own walking pressure, he stops, comes back in. Bones. Good boy. That's it. Good sit. Good boy. All right, so now we're back on the easy walk to give it another shake here, just because on the first one he could also be more excited. He's not as used to the smells and he had more distractions, right? Walking well so far. Still try to keep the leash as loose as possible. We'll give him help and necessary corrections if necessary. Right. A little bit of consistent pressure, but not too bad. Leash is still pretty loose. Doing really well. Starting to walk a little bit faster here. Starting to pick up the pace. And do a directional change here probably soon. Yep, there it is. Good boy. This way. Good. And then back. And then again. Give him plenty of leash. Just keeping it nice and loose. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good. Staying right beside me. Staying focused. A little distracted there by the truck. Running out of lead when he's walking. Good boy. Very good. Responded well to the leash pressure there. Picking up the pace a little bit there. Felt the leash pressure and looked back, so that was good. I'm gonna go ahead and pause here, see what he does. Kind of counter pulling a little bit. There we go. Good boy. All right, now we go on. Starting to pick up the pace a little bit. Okay, some slight pressure. Good. Responded well after pulling past it a little bit. So definitely much better that time with less distractions. Did good pausing there. Good boy. Go ahead and cross. Good boy. Good boy. Yes. Good boy. So outside of the focus practice and leash pressure practice aside, what we're looking for when we're testing out different pieces of equipment to see what may help is what he does and what the equipment does. So with this one, it doesn't really correct him by compressing into him or anything like that, like the other ones do. And I think because of that, he ends up pulling through that leash pressure just a little bit more, as opposed to recognizing that pressure and the forces that are coming around him because of it. Because with the other pieces of gear, he didn't really continue to pull past the pressure. A little bit more responsive to it. And this is why no matter what you use, so here again, he recognizes the pressure, but not as quick to respond. Good boy. So long as you're still following good leash basics, then it's not going to matter nearly as much. But it'll be when those situations come up, like when he's really interested in something like the dogs or a squirrel, where you'll want the additional help of something that can correct him or compress in when he's pulling, as opposed to just something that, you know, doesn't do anything negative when those situations come up. It'll still be up to us to help to redirect him and to correct him for overreacting or for not redirecting. Sometimes the different pieces of equipment can help, good boy, make that process easier as well. Good boy. Okay, so once again, we're gonna go ahead and try to have him walk close to us. I'm resisting just a little bit here. Good boy. Okay, nice and loose. Starting to pick up the pace, ask him to slow down. Good. Starting to pick up the pace, doing a turn. Ooh, good boy. Good boy. Okay, try again. Closer to a heel walk, nice and loose. Good boy. Low back pressure, ask him to slow down. Good boy. Good boy. There you go. So once again, getting too far ahead. Gonna do a turn. Good boy. Come. Do another turn back in. Just following his nose. We're gonna go ahead and pull him back. And this is, yeah, this is the part that is really recognizable with this piece of equipment that he has on. And it might just be because he's also used to pulling through it as well, because it doesn't correct him. But when he gets stuck on something, he stays stuck on it and requires a lot more pressure from the handler to pull him out of it or to correct him, right? As opposed with the other ones, right? Good boy. Good boy. Yes, this way. It's the same thing here. We're trying to correct him, keep him on the left side. He wants to cross over to the right again with the sense. And now he's just, now he just doesn't want to walk with us. Come on, big guy. Same thing. All right. So sometimes the different pieces of equipment can help to make a difference, at least in the amount of effort that it takes from the handler. So now, instead of switching out completely, let's go ahead and try him on his original choke collar here. His dad said that he didn't do very well with it at all and just kind of pulled through it. So just seeing if he's just used to that, or if we can help him with good leash manners to be more responsive, or if it's kind of like the easy walk when he's just kind of more used to bad habits with it. Because this is one of those compression tools that a lot of trainers will also use or recommend too, to help apply more momentary pressure. And try to, once again, keep everything nice and loose. Okay, starting to pick up. Good. Starts to slow down. Good boy. He's doing well. Good boy. Starting to pick up the pace a little bit, following his nose. Good. Did a good job slowing down. Leash is still nice and loose. Just interested in the person there. Good. Doing really well so far. been a nice loose leash this whole time. So I'm gonna go ahead and slow down here to a stop, see how he responds. Good, good boy. Go ahead and cross. Good boy. Good job, big guy. Hi. Good boy. Okay. And go ahead and slow down to a stop here. See how he responds. Good. Wait for these cars to go by. Good boy. You're doing good, big guy. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a reward as opposed to waiting until the end of the course this time, just because he's been doing really well with his walking behaviors. Starting to apply a little pressure here, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn. Good boy. A little cross. Good boy, this way. Good boy, he's actually walking behind me now. Good boy. Okay. Starting to get excited and pick up the pace. Good boy, slows down on his own. Good job. All right, so same thing here. Gonna go ahead and do a turn. Good boy. And go ahead and shorten up the lead. Okay. And try to get him closer to a heel while keeping it nice and loose. Give him a correction there. Give him another correction there. Okay. Turning this way. Good boy. Okay. So once again. Good boy. Good. Get a little too far there. Go ahead and U-turn in. Good boy. Good boy. So he's going to want to go towards those smells again. And just walk through it. See, he resists there and then starts coming along. So that's good. He did really well that time. We didn't need to use as much leash pressure, but when he did, he's definitely more responsive than on the easy walk. Boy, that's it. Good job. Good boy. Okay. Now lastly, we have a different harness. The first one wrapped around the front of his body, and noticing that he is more sensitive in the rear, this harness actually wraps underneath his belly. So we're gonna go ahead and give this one a try as well. And I connected it instead of the his regular chain collar here back to just the slip lead. All right. The good part about this harness as well is that it's a lot longer, but it has a clip there that you can make it shorter too if necessary. But we want to try to keep it nice and loose and long for him, and then we'll shorten it for the last bit. See how he does. Good boy, come. This goes well with the training routine that we have with him, because instead of utilizing harsh pressure or additional pressure, did our best to try to get him used to responding under less pressure, and then of course no pressure, just paying close attention to where we're going and either responding to our verbal cue or just focusing on us. But this, you can really tell, is very loose on him until it gets too far, and then it gets tight, or if we pull on it. But it is very relaxed over him. It's something we wanted to work on with Bones in particular, just because behavioral wise, it seemed like he liked that pressure, because it let him know that the handler was there, and he was starting to check in a lot more when his dad was on the longer lead, because Bones didn't have that pressure there to know that his handler was there. So you can kind of see what I mean here. Now with less pressure, he checks in a lot more. He slows down. Good boy. Right, checking back. There's hardly any pressure on it now. Because he also doesn't drift very far from the handler, this also gives him just a little bit more leash room to go and smell things and come back when called, as opposed to being stuck with leash pressure. So it just gives you a little bit more opportunity before running into that, the struggles of like the flexi or the long lead, where he has more freedom, but it's requires a lot more attention for both of those to control. Whereas this is pretty much like a longer leash, but I just have to wrap and unwrap around my hand a little bit more. Right, we're actually quite a few wraps in, and it's still nice and loose. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, you're doing so good. Okay, so now it gives me the option to give him some more space to go and smell things. Just tighten it up a little bit there so he doesn't pee on it. This is the one thing you'll have to be mindful of. When it is taut against his body though, you can avoid that issue pretty easily. Good boy. One thing is, if it's drifting off to one side, because I don't want him to be stepping on the lead, I'll just kind of slowly shift it back over towards the middle of his back. That also helps from it kind of tangling up or keeping it from getting, from tripping him up. Good boy. So that was good there. He responded to this slight pressure from me stopping. Good boy. Stop again. See it tightens up around them. He stops, which is good. Wait for these cars to go by. Yes, good boy. He's paying attention to me so he knows which way I'm going and when I'm moving. Got another car coming up, so trying to get him out of the street. Good boy, come. There you go. Good. He always smells the leash when it's close to his face too. Did that with the other one as well. Good boy. Good boy. Come. Now he's actually walking behind me. Good boy. There we go. Good boy. All right. Gonna go ahead and apply some pressure here. There you go. He knows we're stopping. Gonna go ahead and cross. This way, Bones. Good boy. Good boy. Hey, big guy. Okay, so it's starting to pick up some speed. Oh, no. No, slow it back down. Good boy. So we're gonna try to have him closer to the heel here with us. Boy. Good boy. A little bit of a correction there to slow down. Once again there. Okay, you can do a turn. Good boy. All right. Good boy. And turn back. Back into a close heel. Good boy. Okay. Slight correction there for going too fast, passing us. Good boy. Back to nice and loose. Let him go ahead and get distracted with his nose. I'm gonna go ahead and pull him out. And you can see how this one really bothers him, and so it breaks his nose from what he was interested in. He was still fighting and struggling because he's unsure and wants to go back there. So if I keep adding pressure, good boy, come. Good boy, right? Good boy. He wants to fight against it, but he's a lot less capable of it because it's just more uncomfortable for him. So once again, We'll go walk through, let him smell. You see somebody over there. Good boy. And pull through. Good, he complies. Good. So even when he is hard stuck on a scent or something of interest, it's a lot easier to get him unstuck because he can't fight the pressure of this leash as well as with the easy walk, for example. Good boy. And definitely for the most part, a lot of the walk was much looser for loose leash walking with this setup as well. So probably will be the one we'll continue to work with. Maybe switching to other ones too for different exercises like the training lead. Good boy. He did really good today. Good job. Good sit.